As a remarkable student of the College of Dynamics, I did what any responsible Asura would do when confronted with a system I knew absolutely nothing about. I have an idea? Stand back. Luckily for you, and for the local emergency services, you don't have to stand too far back. This particular experiment turned out to be reasonably self-contained. My objective this week was simple: investigate crafting. And my research led me straight to Desider Atum, a settlement in Metrica Province that houses a sprawling marketplace and one of the major centers of trade and crafting outside Radasum.
Do you require my assistance?
According to a local NPC, the whole place started with a single armor smith about a century ago, and eventually just mushroomed into the commercial metropolis you see today. Fun nerd fact, Desider Atum is essentially a split-up version of the Latin Desider Atum, meaning something desired or wished for. Well, how convenient! I wished for something to cover this week, and my wish was granted. Look at that, Latin, you absolute monolith of dead languages. Someone's actually using you. Experiment 1. Choosing a craft. In Guild Wars 2, one character can learn all 9 crafting disciplines: armorsmith, artificer, chef, huntsman, jeweler, leatherworker, scribe, tailor, and weaponsmith. Normally, however, you can only have 2 active at a time. The good news is that this isn't a permanent decision. You can switch disciplines later without losing your previous crafting progress, although switching back can incur a small fee based on your crafting level. There's also an additional crafting license that allows a character to have more disciplines active simultaneously. I originally thought Tailor and Artificer would be the logical combination for my Necromancer. Tailor makes light armor, while Artificer covers weapons like staves, scepters, and foci. A very sensible, well-considered decision. And then I saw the shinies. I'm apparently a magpie, so Artificer was promptly abandoned in favor of Jeweler. Fortunately, my research confirmed that switching disciplines doesn't erase the progress you've already made. So if I decide later that shiny rocks no longer satisfy me, I can return to the Artificer. For now, Tailor and Jeweler actually seem like a perfectly sensible combination. I can craft much of my own armor and accessories while relying on drops, vendors, and other resources for my weapons. Scientific justification complete. I wanted the sparkly things. Experiment 2. The Backpack Incident. Applying my unmatched Asuran reasoning, I concluded that the next stage of scientific exploration was to actually craft something. I decided on a simple tailor's backpack, and here we encounter this supremely confusing bit. A backpack in Guild Wars 2 is not, in fact, a bag. I crafted my backpack, equipped it, and it vanished. It took me a good while to realize that I was already wearing it. The item had quietly slipped into my back item equipment slot and was providing its listed stats. What it did not do was add inventory space. I couldn't open it. I couldn't put anything inside it. Why? Who designed this? Calling something a backpack when it fundamentally cannot carry your stuff reeks of human reasoning. You see, Guild Wars 2 separates these two concepts. A back item, which may be called a backpack, is equipment you wear for stats and appearance. An actual bag goes into one of the bag slots in your inventory and increases your carrying capacity. So, the tailor's backpack I had proudly created completely failed to accomplish my original goal of increasing my inventory space. For that, I needed to craft an actual bag through tailoring. What I actually created was a glorified fanny pack full of knitting supplies. I feel like this graphic has added 4 decades to my appearance. My joints are now aching, I'm about to start yelling at the neighborhood kids to get off my lawn, and every sentence I utter now begins with, Well, back in my day... Experiment 3, Banking. While investigating Desider Atum, I stumbled upon the bank. And this discovery may have been more important than the crafting itself. Banking in Guild Wars 2 is wonderfully alt-friendly because your storage is account-wide. Anything a Lizzie deposits can be accessed by another character on the same account. There are 3 storage systems worth understanding. First is the bank itself, general-purpose storage for equipment, consumables, and all those random objects you're absolutely going to use someday. You start with a bank tab containing 30 slots. Second is material storage, which is absolute wizardry. Crafting materials have their own dedicated account-wide storage separate from your general bank slots. From your inventory, you can use deposit all materials, and eligible materials are just whisked away into storage. No sorting, no hauling stacks of cloth around, no wondering why half your inventory appears to be filled with unidentified chunks of tree. And third is the wardrobe, which isn't really storage in the traditional sense. Instead, it's an account-wide collection of equipment appearances you've unlocked. Once an eligible skin is unlocked, you don't have to hoard the physical item just because you might want that appearance later. And currencies don't need bank space at all. Those disappear into an account-wide wallet because apparently Tyria has solved both banking and the nightmare of currency exchange. But material storage gets even better once you start crafting. Your crafting disciplines can use materials directly from material storage, which means I apparently don't have to perform the traditional crafting ritual. Bank, withdraw cloth, waddle to tailoring station, craft, realize you forgot something, mutter terrible profanities, trudge back to bank. If the cloth, ore, or wood is sitting in material storage, the crafting interface simply knows it's there. And because that storage is account-wide, materials gathered by a Lizzie can eventually be used by another character practicing a completely different discipline. You'll find banker NPCs in major cities and hubs, but crafting stations themselves are particularly convenient because they also provide access to your bank and material storage. So, if there is one Guild Wars 2 habit this research project has taught me, it is deposit all materials. Your inventory will constantly accumulate crafting supplies. Rather than deciding what every mysterious object is for while standing in the wilderness, deposit it and let future you deal with it. Future you has plenty of time. Present you has science to do. Research summary. Crafting could provide an enjoyable alternative to combat and exploration. Results confirmed. Unexpected findings. Backpacks cannot necessarily carry things. Researcher status. Now wearing a fanny pack and collecting shiny rocks. Overall, I enjoyed this little detour far more than I expected. Crafting gave me another reason to pay attention to everything I was gathering while exploring. And perhaps most importantly, I learned the fundamental principle of Asuran scientific research. If the experiment fails, question the methodology. If the backpack fails, blame the humans. Research log 2 complete. Until next time, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next world. Or, as my Asura might say, may all your theories be sound, and your backpacks contain absolutely nothing.